Hello, my name is John. I'm 35 years old, and I had a very happy marriage. It was thought that such a happy, dreamlike marriage would remain so fulfilling, but the truth was that our happy marriage had a big crack. This is my father. His name is William. He's a traveling enthusiast. There are many places on the world map he has visited, and my father's dream at his young age was to travel with his children and wife as he aged. The one standing beside my father was my mother, who has the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. This is a picture of my father and my mother when they just fell in love and were traveling together. My father and mother knew each other on a flight when he was 25 years old. Sitting next to him was a girl, holding a very attentive reading book. The girl, who eventually became my mother, occasionally let out a soft giggle. To this day, when he recounted the impression he first met my mother, his eyes flashed with joys that you would find in those who are deeply in love. His mouth widened with that smile. They have been married for many years, but until now what I see is still my mother's smile and my father's bright eyes whenever he looks at his wife and me. Every night before going to sleep, I dreamed of such a life with my own family, of a lovely wife and children who would be as happy as them. During my school time, I once had a girlfriend named Jane. She was very sexy and always had a lot of fun stories to tell, but I was not seeing her for long. The reason was that I often see her around other boys, laughing and even going to bars all night. That was why my feelings for her ended quickly. After that, I didn't fall in love with anyone else for a long time. After graduating from university, I got a job in an application development company in the IT field, and often have to travel to many places around the world. I only knew how to make friends with the computer, and did not have to worry about love affairs, until I met Linda. She and I met in a small cafe in Texas. It was about time I went on a business trip. While I was busy focusing on typing on my computer, a girl approached me and said, "Hello." I was dumbfounded in front of her, but quickly invited her to sit on the chair opposite me. It turned out that Linda had noticed me since I entered. We talked very happily. She was a student at that time. We exchanged phone numbers with each other and quickly started a romantic love story. We were both very happy at the beginning. Either right after finishing a day at work or before going to bed, I often thought of her, whether she was asleep yet or whether she missed me. But not for long. There were some problems aroused between us. We broke up because she said that I was too busy at work and didn't care much about her. A few months after we broke up, my job was a lot busier, but I missed her more. I realized that the job didn't bring me the joy she had brought me, and I decided to take a vacation to go find her. Before I left, my boss smiled and patted me on the shoulder to cheer. The boss said, "You've always been a hardworking employee, but love needs the time and effort. You deserve happiness with the one you love." I met her again, but this time as a friend. During my visit to Texas, we spent more time together, going to the movies, dining out to restaurants, doing shopping together, and drinking too. That one night when we were together, she said she missed me so much. She tried to see someone else, but then soon broke up. We started from there, and eventually got married. I have found my happiness, and I looked forward to our child even more. We both loved children and expected to have them as soon as possible. I had this fantasy repetitively appeared in my mind of how adorable they would be and how happy our family would be. But nothing happened after months of marriage. My wife and I went to the hospital to have a health check, and the results I received a few days later made me very sad and disappointed. I couldn't hide her results and decided to tell her the fact that she was infertile. Holding the result in her hand, Linda was shocked. It was a rainy day. She cried a lot and woke up with puffy eyes. I told her we needed to go to the hospital for another checkup, and the situation could be solved by other medical means. She insisted on not going to the hospital, which led us to an argument. I tried to calm her down and have a discussion, but we just kept arguing. I was first frustrated and then bored with the quietness in the house, so I went to work more. She also went out more frequently to keep herself busy with shopping with friends. I wanted to divorce her. The reason was that she didn't think about our happiness at all. While the problem could be solved somehow, she didn't even want to try. She was just so selfish, while I was still trying so hard to keep everything together and think of a solution. She was still in the mood to hang out with friends. I suggested that we get a divorce, which again made us argue more. I became extremely tired. I often finished work and went home only when I was sure she had been asleep, because I didn't want to face her. The other night I heard her talking on the phone on the balcony with her best friend about our story. I saw her crying. Tears were streaming down her face when she said that I gradually fell out of love with her, and that I didn't care about her feelings anymore. She felt that maybe I was trying to stay away from her because she couldn't give me a baby. I heard it all and trudged heavily back to our room. I wrote a letter to her, hoping that she would understand me better and try harder for our future. Dear Linda, I love you. I care about you and care about our happiness. You also love our baby. I know you do. Current medical science is very developed, so don't worry. I promise to always be with you, to hold your hand and overcome this difficulty together. I just want us to think of a solution together. I love you, and and our parents love you too. I left a letter for her and headed out. The rush of people on the streets and cars passing by made me feel so heavy. Each minute and second seemed to pass so slowly. I returned to our house early in the morning, feeling anxious, opening the bedroom door quietly. Everything in the house hadn't changed since I left the house last night. Just her laughter, which had been missed. She woke up and was reading my letter when I arrived home. She frantically rushed to hug and kiss me. She had her arms around my neck and cried, "John, I love you. I thought you would abandon me because I couldn't have a baby. I wouldn't be able to live without you. Sorry for being so selfish. I agree to go to the hospital with you." Hearing her say it made me so happy. I love her so much and felt pity for her too. Because of this, she must have lost weight because she looked so much thinner. We went to the hospital together and did a lot of other tests. We listened and followed the doctor's advice. Our job then was to wait for the results. We were back to the happy times like before. We cooked and enjoyed the food together in our home. We lied on the sofa, watching love movies, and redecorated our home together. We then got the results from the doctor, who said our first IVF was unsuccessful and we needed to do it again. Upon receiving the results, she had this visible sorrow on her face, with tears already falling. I tried to be by her side as much as I could. This time, she and I decided to volunteer at an orphanage center. She acted like a mother, taking care of the children there and smiling brightly. The results of the second test quickly came to us, but they were no different from the previous one, which was still a huge disappointment. Linda cried again, making my heart tighten. I hugged her and said, "Darling, I'm here. Everything will be okay." After many failures, Linda seemed to have lost hope. She was desperate, constantly telling herself that she was a useless woman who could not even have children. Every time she was depressed, she locked herself in her room and cried, no matter how hard I tried to call from outside. Seeing my wife hurt, it hurt me too. I collapsed and then knelt in front of the door and couldn't stop crying. "Linda, I beg you, please, open the door. I want to see you and hug you right now," I said in a choked voice, thinking to myself why fate brought us into this misfortune. Why? Finally, Linda opened the door with a smile on her face. But it was a forced smile to make me stop crying. I knew that, but I was too useless not being to find a way to make my wife feel better. That night, Linda hugged me and slept well. Seeing that made me feel a bit at ease. Therefore, I could also get some sleep. In my sleep, I dreamed of a house filled with laughter from my wife and my children. When I woke up, I was a bit disappointed because that dream just felt so real. But my emotions started to turn to bewilderment when I didn't see Linda lying next to me anymore. Uneasiness came. I rushed to search for Linda around the house, both inside and outside. I couldn't find her anywhere. It was 3:24 in the morning. Where could she go? Her phone was switched off too. Thinking something bad might happen to her, I ran into the living room to get the car keys to go look for Linda. When entering the living room, I found on the small table just below my car key was a letter written by Linda. I opened the letter immediately. Linda wrote that she was so desperate and sad dealing with the fact that she was such a useless woman. She decided to leave so that I can find new happiness for myself, and some women out there would give me the children that I wanted, but she couldn't give them to me. Reading that part, I rushed to find Linda. I searched for her at her grandmother's house, her friend's house, literally any places we had been to. However, she was nowhere to be found. As the days went by, I became increasingly worried and desperate because I couldn't find Linda. I was worried that something bad would have happened to her. I hope that through this YouTube channel and with this post, Linda can listen to what I had to say about my feelings for her. I just wanted to tell her, "Linda, I love you. You are my everything. I am very worried about you, so please come back to me. We will be happy again. I don't need children anymore, but I need you. Come back to me, Linda." I truly hope she will receive my message. Thank you for listening to my story. Right now, my mood is very unstable. I don't know what will happen next. I need your advice. Please give me a piece of your advice in the comments section and help me share the story so that Linda can know and come back to me.